Today's opening words, our call to worship, is First Comes the Waiting by Erica A. Hewitt. This is the season of endings and beginnings, when the small signs of dawn pierce through the night and something new is born. But first comes the waiting. First comes the lessons of endings and beginnings. The presence of life, the sheltering spirit of love, grieves with those sweeping up the debris of loss, waits with those who restlessly reach out for change, grants us courage in the night to guard each other's dreams for this holy, wondrous universe. Grant us, O universe, unfolding in mystery, a sense of your timing. May we loosen our grip on that which doesn't serve us, leaving behind that which we have outworn and outgrown. Teach us the lessons of beginnings. Remind us that such waitings and endings may be a starting place, a planting of seeds which bring to birth what is ready to be born, something right and just and different. A new song, a deeper relationship, a fuller love in the fullness of time. Come, let us worship together. Please rise in body and spirit for our opening hymn, Rise Up, O Flame, number 362 in the gray hymnal. It's a very short two-part round. We will sing the whole thing together first, and then we'll just divide. I'll lead, Eloise, and you lead this half. This group? I'm sending them over there. Oh, okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so this will be one, this will be two, and just watch me for when we'll just do it as many times as feels right.
Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
Good lesson. And please remain risen for our chalice lighting, as you are able. Come on, lighter. There you go. We light, this is a responsive reading. You'll see the words in a moment, hopefully. You will read the words in italics. We light this chalice on the brink of a new year.
Letting go of what has been.
Open and hopeful for what may come.
Renewed, restored, ready.
To live life fully anew.
May we move forward with intention.
And now remain standing for our covenant. Tracy will lead that.
Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship. Thus do we covenant. La doctrina de esta iglesia es el amor. La búsqueda de la verdad es su sacramento y el servicio es su oración. Vivir juntos en paz, buscar el conocimiento en libertad, servir a la humanidad en comunión. Este es nuestro pacto.
Good morning and Happy New Year, Feliz Nuevo Año. Thank you. I am David Early, your worship associate for today's service. My pronouns are he and him. Welcome to Emerson Unitarian Universalist Church, named for the great American transcendentalist writer and Unitarian minister Ralph Waldo Emerson. We ask that you make sure your cell phones are silenced and that you keep your masks on during the service. We are an active liberal religious community that has been part of the West Valley for, is it 70 years this year? Yeah, got to change the number there. 70 years. I'm very happy that you are here today, in person and online, to begin our new year of worship, fellowship, and uplifting spiritual enlightenment. It is common to put the words New Year's and resolution together at this time of year, the beginning of it, as a goal-setting exercise, usually with self-improvement at an aspect of one's life as the objective. I have made a new resolution for myself, to be able to articulate what Unitarian Universalism is with concise and clear wording that produces a proper and basic but complete definition for the person who was making this inquiry. Once at a chamber music concert in a private home, I was talking to a Jewish couple, and I mentioned that I attended this church. Like most people who are unfamiliar with our faith, they were curious about Unitarian Universalism. The man thought that because it took place in a church that it was a Christian religion. I said it was not, then tried to sum up the 7 principles quickly and concisely, but was only partially successful. I would like to memorize the principles well enough to effectively summarize them to inform an inquiring person. In this instance, an effective elevator speech would have been ideal. Here are 2 I found using Google and Wikipedia. Our denomination is unique because every Unitarian Universalist has the right to develop a personal philosophy of life without being told what to believe. We can learn from all philosophies and religions, and also from science and the arts. We explore important life issues in a caring community, united by shared values rather than by shared theological opinions. And no matter what we do believe about theology or philosophy, we try to live a good life and leave the world better than when we found it. Or to put it another way, Unitarian Universalism means never having to say, I'm right and you're wrong. Emerson acknowledges the Gabrielino, Tongva, and Chumash peoples as the original inhabitants of where our church stands today, part of the world the Gabrielino, Tongva know as Tovangar. It remains part of their lasting identity and heritage. Our existence as a spiritual community can never be fully understood without appreciating the depth of the loss of their land in generations past and the enduring hopes for the renewed vitality of these cultures in years to come. If you are joining us in worship for the first time, we gladly welcome you to our service and invite you to fill out your information in the online guestbook document in the chat, or the guestbook in the foyer for those of you here in the sanctuary. so you may be informed about future services and other opportunities for gathering with the Emerson community during the week. We also have an excellent website that is updated regularly with church information. If you would like to have a joy or sorrow read aloud later during the service during our embracing meditation, you may do so in a moment when we take a few minutes to greet our neighbors, if you haven't done so already. And those of you on Zoom may submit it by clicking on the link which is posted in the chat. Those of you, okay, sorry, I already said that. It's behind the piano, the Book of Life. After the service, join us for our traditional first Sunday potluck lunch in the pavilion. Everyone online is invited to join in our virtual coffee hour in Zoom after the service for fellowship and conversation. And now, in the spirit of fellowship and building community, let us take a few minutes to greet our neighbors.
Hi, good. How you doing? Good. I know. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, I've been in Utah for a week, so it's been in the 20s down up there. So it's about 30 miles north of Salt Lake. So it's a little town called Roy. So that's where my mom is. So anyway, I was visiting her. She's doing okay. Actually, better than she was. So yeah, she's doing okay. So kind of holding on. She still needs a lot of support, but yeah, she's doing so much better than I think her doctor was even thinking. So I'm it. Yeah, I'm kind of it. Yeah, so I'm just kind of. It's me and her neighbors. So she's got amazing neighbors. It really is. So, you know, I can't.
Everything you have is in red. Just
really,
a minute.
You know,
I'm sending a text to
there,
Adam.
But, so I can't be up there full time either. So I'm just still
He'll get
splitting my
it.
time.
He might be on silent. He put up a really good picture for this story. Yeah, he did. You'll see it in a minute.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. He found it online just by Googling the title.
I feel like we've overworked you today. If there's anything else you need,
Well, it's just, you know, it's just
want me to get you a
Yeah,
glass
I wish.
of water?
I've got water here.
I've thought about
This is
bringing
the
her
fourth
down, and she
consecutive
might be
service
actually
I've
well
done
enough.
on a choir Sunday.
Oh, geez, that's
So-
really, that's a lot.
See, so I'm going to try to avoid that in the future.
Yeah.
plane trip without breaking another bone.
Efforts.
And we're going to give them a little, people haven't seen each other for a while because of the holidays and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's been about almost 4 minutes. So
She can just turn over and break it. Yeah. Oh, thanks. Oh, thanks.
it is so good to be together in our beloved community to start the new year. Our story today, provided to me by Reverend Matthew. I think it'll be better than a YouTube video. is called How Coyote Stole Fire. Long ago, when humans were newly come into the world, they loved the springtime with the beautiful emerging green plant life. They loved the summer, a time of berries and growth. As autumn came, the nights became colder and the humans shivered. The children and elders would die from the cold. Winter was a hard time. Coyote had no need for fire, so he seldom concerned himself with it until one spring day when he was passing a human village. He could hear the wailing of the humans as they mourned their loved ones who had died in the cold of winter. "Feel how the sun is now warm on our backs," one of the men was saying. "Feel how it warms the earth and makes these stones hot to the touch. If only we could have had a small piece of the sun in our teepees during the winter." Coyote, overhearing this, felt sorry for the people. He also felt that there was something he could do to help them. He knew of a faraway mountaintop where the 3 fire beings lived. These beings kept fire to themselves, guarding it carefully for fear that humans might somehow acquire it and become as strong as they. So Coyote went to the mountain of the fire beings and crept to its top to watch the way that the beings guarded their fire. He watched all day and night as the fire beings guarded their fire. He saw how they fed it pine cones and dry branches from the sycamore trees. He saw also how, at night, the beings took turns to sit by the fire. 2 would sleep while 1 was on guard, and at certain times, the being by the fire would get up and go into their teepee, and another would come out to sit by the fire. Coyote saw that the beings were always jealously watchful of their fire, except during one part of the day. That was on the earliest morning, when the first winds of dawn arose on the mountains. Then the being by the fire would hurry, shivering, into the teepee, calling, "Sister, sister, go out and watch the fire." But the next being would always be slow to go out for her turn, her head spinning with sleep and the thin dreams of dawn. Coyote, seeing all this, went down the mountain and spoke to some of his friends among the people. He told them of the shivering, hairless humans, and he told them of the fire beings and the warmth and brightness of the flame. They all agreed that humans should have fire, and they all promised to help Coyote. Coyote crept back up the mountain. He watched as they changed over at certain times, all the night long, until the last dawn winds rose. Then the being on guard called, "Sister, sister, get up and watch the fire." And the being whose turn it was climbed slow and sleepy from her bed, saying, "Yes, yes, I am coming. Do not shout so loud." But before she could come out of the teepee, Coyote lunged from the bushes, snatched up a glowing portion of fire, and sprang away down the mountainside. Screaming, the fire beings flew after him. Swift as Coyote ran, they caught up with him, and one of them reached out a clutching hand. Her fingers touched only the tip of the tail, but the touch was enough to turn the hairs white, and Coyote tail tips are white still. Coyote shouted and flung the fire away, but Coyote's friends had gathered at the mountain's foot in case they were needed. Squirrels saw the fire falling and caught it, putting it on her back and fleeing away through the treetops. The fire scorched her back so painfully that her tail curled up and back, as squirrels' tails still do today. The fire beings then pursued Squirrel, who threw the fire to Chipmunk. Chattering with fear, Chipmunk stood still as if rooted until the beings were almost upon her. Then as she turned to one being clawed at her, tearing down the length of her back and leaving 3 stripes that are to be seen on chipmunks' backs even today. Chipmunk threw the fire to Frog, and the beings turned towards him. One of the beings grasped his tail, but Frog gave a mighty leap and tore himself free, leaving his tail behind in the being's hand. which is why frogs have had no tails ever since. And as the beings came after him again, Frog flung the fire onto wood, and wood swallowed it. The fire beings gathered round, but they did not know how to get the fire out of wood. They promised it gifts, sang to it, and shouted at it. They twisted it and stuck it and struck it and tore it with their knives. But wood did not give up the fire. In the end, defeated, the beings went back to their mountaintop. But Coyote knew how to get fire out of wood, and he went to the human village and showed them how. He showed them the trick of rubbing 2 dry sticks together, and the trick of spinning a sharpened stick in a hole made in another piece of wood. So from then on, humans have been warm and safe through the deep cold of winter. Great story. One of the best I've read in my years here. Thank again to Reverend Matthew for that. We'll now join together in our Unitarian Universalist affirmation. You can join me in the hand signals. We are Unitarian Universalists, a people of open minds, loving hearts, and welcoming hands.
One of the ways we live out our value of generosity is by sharing the plate with local organizations who are doing work that aligns with our values. This month, we share our collection with Communities for a Better Environment. Their mission is to build people's power in California's communities of color and low-income communities to achieve environmental health and justice by preventing and reducing pollution and building green, healthy, and sustainable communities and environments. Communities for a Better Environment provides residents in heavily polluted urban communities in California with organizing skills, leadership training, and legal, scientific, and technical assistance so that they can successfully confront threats to their health and well-being. Donations can be made at donateemersonuuc.org or using the Breeze CHMS mobile app and selecting Sunday Offering. If you're writing a check, please make checks payable to Emerson UU Church and write "Share the Plate" in the memo. If you would like to make a payment on a pledge, please write "Pledge" in the memo instead. Our offerings will now be gratefully received.
I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
These meditation words are In Between by Kate R. Walker. In between, liminal, that space where we wait, between moments, events, results, action, no action. To stand on the threshold, waiting for something to end and something new to arrive. A pause in the rumble of time. Awareness claims us, alert, a shadow of something different. In between invitation and acceptance, in between symptom and diagnosis, in between send and receipt of inquiry and question, in between love given and love received. Liminality, a letting go, entering into confusion, ambiguity, and disorientation. A ritual begun, pause, look back at once was, look forward into what becomes. Identity sheds a layer, reaches into something uncomfortable to wear. In between lighting of the match and the kindling of oil, in between choosing of text and the reading of words, in between voices and notes carried through the air into ears to hear. In between creation thrusts ever forward. Social hierarchies may disassemble and structures may fall. Communities may revolt or tempt trust. Tradition may falter or creativity crashes forward. Leaders may step down or take charge. The people may choose or refuse. In between, storm predicted, the horizon beacons. In between, theology of process reminds us to step back. In between, where minutiae and galaxies intermingle with microbes and mysteries. In between, liminal, that space where we wait. Look, listen, feel, breathe. And now we'll have a sung meditation. It's called Becoming, and I forgot to print what Kevin sent me, so I'm reading it on my phone, but I'll be able to follow him pretty well. I'm going to sing the first verse myself, and then you'll join it with me. And there's two more verses with the pronoun changing at the beginning of each verse. I am who I'm becoming. I am all I have done. Join in. I am what I am dreaming. I've only just begun. I am who I'm becoming. I am all I have done. I am what I am dreaming. I've only just begun. You are what I'm becoming. You have done. You are what you are dreaming. You've only just begun. You are what you are dreaming.
You are all you have done. You are what you are dreaming. You've only just begun.
We are
who we're becoming. We are all we have done. We are what we are dreaming. We've only just begun. We are who we're becoming. We are all we have done. We are what we are dreaming. We've only just begun.
Okay, for our online virtual Book of Life responses, there was one entered a week ago by Nancy Watanabe, and I called her and asked her if she wanted it read. No one was here, right? Right. Okay, was it read? No. Okay, I didn't think so. All right. Nancy says, please, this is for December 31st, please send strength and comfort to my mother, Marjorie Singleton, who fell on Christmas Day and broke her femur at her left hip. My daughter and myself have been in the hospital with her since then. I don't know what the status is now, but they put a pin in the bone, but she has yet to stand. Melissa and I could use some energy. So we're thinking of Nancy and her sister and mother. From 2 weeks ago, and this is still vital today, from Melissa Marotte, please send healing energy and love to Heather Innes, of this friend of mine from Ohio University who is trying to beat cancer for the second time. She needs a lot of prayers. Today, Todd Covert writes that he shares the news of his passing of his father, John Covert, early Friday in Memphis at age 86. A well-regarded performer and professor of French horn, he had a passionate interest in quantum mechanics, astrophysics, genetics, and evolution, all of which he shared with Todd, and no interest in organized religion, which he did not. Rest in peace. Brian Nelson writes in memory of his high school friend Stuart McIntyre, who passed away yesterday after a long fight against illness. Eileen writes in memory of Mom, who passed August 22nd last year. I think and miss you daily. When we gather here on a Sunday morning, each of us brings the sorrows and joys in our hearts, in our homes, our communities, and our world. If there is a person you are holding in your heart, please say his or her name aloud so we may send loving kindness and positive energy their way. We open our worship to all that life brings, and we set aside this time to bring these pieces of our lives into this space. In a moment, I will ring the bowl, and you will be invited to speak into this space the name of a person or place, a memory or milestone you may be holding within you this morning. We lift up these words from our hearts. And let us hold gently in our hearts those thoughts that are too fragile or personal to be spoken aloud as we join together in silence. So may it be among us.
This reading by Lois Van Leer is entitled Let Go.
Trying to get it lower.
Let it go low.
That's better.
Let go of all that binds you, of all that burdens you, of what you carry, of all that shames you, of fear, of trespasses and transgressions, of woundedness. Let go of guilt. Let go of anger. Let go of small-mindedness and pettiness, of ways of being that no longer work for you, of compulsions that consume your living. Let go of what you cannot change. Let go of regret, of that which haunts you. Let go of pain. Let go of ways in which you missed the mark. Let go.
We're now going to have the first of our two participatory rituals. And drawing upon my teacher instincts, I'm going to maybe have Tracy help me pass out the writing material in advance so you can be listening as you hear the instructions, you'll know what to do. You're going to write something very short. You're going to write something very short and brief on this flash paper. Oh, Brian, thank you. Spontaneous helpers, gotta love it. Just take one. I'll demonstrate for people doing this for the first time what you will actually do.
Thank you.
Brian, did you get one? Okay.
It's a little tricky to write on. You have to write very light.
Oh, sure.
Oh, I got this. Melissa gave me this one, though.
He's gonna tell you what to write.
Yeah, I am. I just wanted everything to be passed out in advance so they could be listening to instructions as I'm reading. The new year calls us forward, filled with mystery. As we turn toward that new year, we take a final glimpse of the past year and reckon with all that it held for us. Take the piece of paper and the pencil you were given along with the order of service. It is specially treated paper that evaporates in fire, leaving no ash or residue. Take a piece of paper and reflect on the year behind you. Consider what you might leave behind today, burning it brightly so that it changes form and disappears. What parts of our lives, what things, ideas, people, ways of living have become obstacles to our becoming the people we want to be, the people we need to be? What's holding you back? What's getting in the way of you living as fully as you'd like to? What might you burn away? What will you relinquish? Write a word or two on the paper. Nobody will see it except you, the flame, and the universe. After you write, for the next few minutes, music will invite you forward so you can put your paper into the fire. The flames will take it very quickly. As flame takes the paper, let it go. If you're more comfortable, I can burn your paper for you. The fire will do the rest. And as the music starts,
Would you mind?
I can't work with the glass paper. That's a little tricky. All right. So hand me the paper if you wish me to do it, otherwise you need to do it yourself. I should have used this. I also resolved to be more careful when lighting a candle with a lighter. If the past year held joy and growth for you, may that sweetness continue to bless you. If the past year held pain and bitterness, may you be relieved of those burdens and renewed for the journey ahead. Let us look to the new with hope, with curiosity about its many unknowns, and with faith in our strength to navigate it with grace.
Now, let us with positivity and optimism declare our intentions for the new year by inscribing them on this special white cloth. You'll notice it's been written on before, and I'm sure it will be written on again. It may be an action, an emotion, a specific goal for yourself, your community, or the wider world, or something more general. There's no format, there are no rules. It can be one word or several. It is your personal idea of how best you can live your life in 2024. You are now invited to come forward to inscribe your intentions as we affirm for ourselves what will make 2024 a good and meaningful year.
Tracy and I express our appreciation to the wonderful participation in both rituals by the congregation today. Please rise in body and spirit for our closing hymn, or in spirit. Fire of Commitment, number 1028 in the teal hymnal. We're going to do all three verses, I assume. So the words will be on the screen. From the light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, when our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living rings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. Please remain standing. Thank you very much. Great closing hymn. Remain standing for some acknowledgments and our benediction. I want to thank very much Tracy for collaborating on this service with me with less than a week's notice. We did wonderful working together on the elements. I really, really appreciate her. I think this is the first time you've done a service with someone other than Reverend Matthew. So she was, yay to Tracy.
David gets a positive review.
Thank you. Aw, shucks. Okay, anyway, and thank you to Eloise and our choir for doing great rendition. And Eloise helped with that arrangement of this little item, mine, by the way. And and Kevin for his usual outstanding leading us in the hymns and the meditation. Thank you to Margaret, who is always here to help set up for the refreshments. And today it's a potluck lunch, versus the Sunday's potluck lunch after the service. Thank you to Lynn and Linda, always being our faithful lobby people, greeting people, whoever shows up and helping out. Thank you to Brian for his ushering help today. Thank you for the spontaneous assistance on the rituals by Brian and Melissa. And thank you to Melissa for the idea of using the chalice to light the flash paper. I'm going to remember that for the next time. Instead of the little votive candle. That's a little more appropriate. You're right. For the next time I do this service, which hopefully will be a couple years from now, maybe. It's a lot of work, but it's exhilarating to go through it. It's like when I do my concerts at the end of the year. It's so much work getting the kids ready to play, but the natural high you get when it's done. And today I feel a real great feeling from everyone's participation and just the whole idea of this service. And last but not least, our faithful tech people, Conrad and Adam, the great tech team. Thank you very much. And I don't think I left out anybody. Hopefully not. Okay, and thank all of you. Oh yeah, Jim Wallace hosting on Zoom when now that Linda's in our choir. Thank you to Jim. Yeah, we should be mentioning him. That's very important. So as you're comfortable, you may extend hands, reach out and join hands as you're comfortable, or touch elbows or not. I guess I was saying this one too. Benediction words by Emily Wright Magoon. As we go forth, may we remember the gift of fire to cleanse and renew. May we remember to renew our hearts and minds so that we can commit to lives of hope. Something new is being born in us. May the strength of our community give us the courage to let it be so. Amen. Blessed be. Namaste.
Oh, thank you.